Body politics. In 2005, Jean-Luc got lost in a series of caves in the French Pyrenees. He had no food for 35 days, surviving by drinking the water that dripped down the cave's walls. When he was found, he had lost 40 pounds, but remained in surprisingly good health and mental condition considering his ordeal. He attributed his survival to possessing a name suitably difficult for Americans to pronounce. Thanks for nothing, high school French class. A similar ordeal happened to me recently. In a rare alignment of schedules, I found myself alone in the house for 35 minutes. Without kids or my wife to observe me and thereby restrain my dieting habit, my willpower crumbled to dust. I proceeded to gorge my way through the pantry. I managed to gain 40 pounds before I heard the garage door opening and frantically stuffed all the candy wrappers in the trash. I remained in surprisingly good health considering my ordeal, though my wife noticed the candy wrappers in the trash within 5 minutes of entering the house. She's like a lady Sherlock Holmes. The similarities between the two stories are uncanny, don't you think? I mean, they both have the numbers 35 and 40 in them. Truly astonishing, but let's not get bogged down in the details. I have always found it difficult to maintain a healthy body weight. There was a narrow window in time between my junior year of high school, when I managed to shed the childhood chubbiness, to a few years after my wedding, when I stacked it back on, where I was a lean, mean fighting machine. Well, I was lean. Since then, I've been engaged in the battle of the bulge. Nothing drives home the score so much as photographic evidence. My family discovered my expired passport from high school. My 17-year-old son ran up to me. "Dad, we just saw your old passport photo. You were... wow!" Reading between the lines, I think that means you were so good-looking, very Hollywood. What in the world happened to you? I followed him back into the living room and found my entire family bubbling with the discovery, passing around my passport. I took a look, and there was no denying it. Snacking and time had taken their toll. I don't mind looking older so much. Time is natural and unavoidable. I don't feel the need to cling to my youth. Age has as many benefits as youth. Not to mention that those who try to buck that system end up looking like plastic surgery zombies. I'd rather be old and crusty than inhuman. But the extra pounds? Ouch. That's my choice. Or, more accurately, thousands of my choices. It's always bugged me. My problem is too much food. No, that's not it. My problem is I like food too much. Cookies and cream ice cream, brownies, candy, hot French bread, savory dishes are delicious. Stop that. Don't go down that road. I'm sorry. I can't eat carbs until Tuesday, so I am ultra susceptible to carbohydrate fixations. Gotta break free of that and rehearse the truth that my body is perfectly fine with the healthy food I've given it. My cravings do not come from need. They grow from want, and if you feed want, it grows. My genetics have also provided a gift. I am large-framed, big-boned, wide-shouldered, husky, strong. You put my family in the Viking Age, and I bet we would be a powerful warrior clan, but in the modern information age, where food is plentiful and unhealthy options abound, I can pack on the fat in record time. The above story about gaining 40 pounds in 35 minutes is only slightly exaggerated. Of course, I don't know the numbers. I'm not dull enough to step on a scale. That's worse than looking at your high school passport photo. I've been trying to digest the nutritional advice of the day for years. Deciphering the industrial health complex messaging is like that game where you have to discern which person is telling the lie, but instead of 5 players, you have thousands of influencers and millions of players. What is what? What a pain in the butt. I've tried many diets over the years, and do you know what I'm sure of? The weakest link in every diet plan is me. I am the one with a deficit of willpower. Sure, one plan may be better than the other. I certainly like the one I settled on, but dieting isn't as complicated as it feels. The battle of the chubby hubby is won or lost on any given day in the mind. The problem isn't that you are doing the wrong plan or don't have the right product. It's your will versus your appetites. Simple as that. If you don't start with this fundamental point, it's like trying to explain the existence of Hamlet without Shakespeare. To be fat or not to be? That is the question. With this truth fixed firmly in its place, I have weeded through shelves of rubbish diet books, plans, and products, and found a few basic principles to guide my epic quest for leanness. I will share them with you because the one thing this world needs is one more dude spouting his formula for success. Well, be that as it may, here we go. Commandment 1 in the Higgins Dieting Bible: never pay money for any weight loss program, supplement, treatment, or medicine. You don't need that doodad or this thingamabob. Pause there for a second. Let that settle. That eliminates most of the clutter and noise in this space. Isn't it nice? Commandment number 2. Since food is plentiful, every time you open your mouth to chew, you give points to your opposition. Therefore, you should reduce the hours per day that you are allowed to chew. Intermittent fasting feels like a fad diet when everyone is talking about it, but it most closely mimics how our bodies were designed to function. Eat when food is available, fast when food is scarce, and it doesn't violate rule number 1 because there is nothing to purchase. In my house, I have to inflict food scarcity onto myself because, though I have been very poor at times, I have never gone hungry. Not once. What a blessing. Thank God for his provision, right? I started fasting for 16 hours per day and eating for 8. It took a long time for that to feel easy, but one day it no longer required willpower to do it. I had created a baseline habit that I could sustain forever. So I toggled my time to a 7 hours and 45 minutes eating window using alarms on my phone. Then 7 hours, 30 minutes, and so on. If it was a little bit of a struggle but manageable, I was on target. If it was easy, it was time to toggle again. It didn't matter how long it took. It became about creating permanent habits, bit by bit, but not being on a diet. I settled into a lifestyle of a 21-hour fasting period per day and a 3-hour eating window after about 2 years. By the time I got to that point, it didn't seem like too big of a deal because I had been baby-stepping the whole time. Had I figured out the path to perpetual leanness? Not so fast. The day came when I realized that the miracle of divine engineering, that is, the human body, and my unique genetic makeup caught up with me. My body had adapted to the new normal and had found a way. I began gaining weight again. Are you kidding me? First, I got angry, feeling betrayed by my body. After all, I had been doing my part. Though I had not changed a thing, I had found a way to eat my way into the next belt notch in just 3 hours a day. At first, I did what I had always done in the past when I expanded, ignored it. Then, when I couldn't anymore, I got angry. This is so unfair. The time had come for commandment number 3. Carbohydrates are the enemy. Protein and fat are your friends. Therefore, you must decrease the percentage of carbs and increase proteins and fats. At first, I tried to tackle my 3rd commandment using the toggle method like I'd done with fasting. decrease the carbs by small increments, but I love my carbs too much. It's like an addiction. No, strike out the word like. It is an addiction. It was time to take some cold turkey medicine. I stacked carnivore or keto or whatever it's called on top of my fasting routine. 6 days a week with a Tuesday cheat day. It was so hard. So hard. Addictions are brain battles. I began losing weight again. I thought I had found the magic formula. I eventually settled into the new normal. Then my body adapted and found a way. Again. For crying out loud. I had found a way to eat back all my losses of 6 days during my Tuesday cheat day. I know, I can see the pattern too, but can't I just ignore it for a while? And so we come to today, and the newest toggling of my diet rules. I am currently on day 11 of my 13-day challenge, intermittent fasting and carnivore for 13 days, and then a cheat day. It has been hard lately because my willpower feels like an engine running on low-octane gasoline. But baby steps, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, is still progress. I give myself grace, but never let myself give up completely. I've accepted that I will look like an old, crusty version of my high school passport, but I don't want to be a fat version of it. Honestly, I am afraid that after 20 years more of toggling the strictness of my diet, I will be eating 1 carrot a day and my body will still find a way to gain weight. I'll keep you posted on that one. Sometimes I wish God had created us just a little differently. Imagine if our bodies kept our body mass index at the ideal proportion of fat to weight no matter what. Like it keeps everything else precisely tuned. Now that's a superpower I want. I want to be the gluttonator. Okay. I'm done now.